welcome to another episode of At Home with LA. Today we are talking about relationships, whether they be romantic or friendships. We're going to go over three main areas of relationships today. How to know when you need to get out of a bad one, how to survive that bad breakup and move on with your life, and most importantly, how to attract the right relationship. But first we need to start with the basics. So the first thing that you need to know is you need to love yourself and respect yourself more than anyone else. I know, but Lisa Ann, if I love someone, I should love them unconditionally no matter how bad they treat me. Wrong. If you do not love, respect, and value yourself, how can you expect anyone else to do the same? If you do not love yourself more, if you do not respect yourself and value yourself more, how are you going to attract others who are going to love, respect, and see your value? Setting your value is very important, and we don't even realize that we do it on an everyday basis. When we allow people to treat us badly over and over and over and over again, we devalue ourselves. The message that we send is, I don't feel worthy and I know I'm not valuable, so you should treat me as if I have no value. The next thing, and this is very, very important, I know a lot of you out there are wonderful, loving, caring, empathetic, intuitive souls. And a lot of times when people have bad behavior or are treating you badly, you can justify that from something that they went through in their past. You have empathy for the experience that they went through. You understand maybe they had a bad childhood, or they had a bad relationship or a divorce or a friendship that went awry. So you can look at them and you can understand why they feel the way they do and why they act the way they do. You know what? That's what makes you a great person, because you're loving, caring, empathetic, and compassionate. But that does not mean that you need to allow those bad experiences that person went through to be an excuse for their bad behavior. So I want you to think about that. You can be understanding, you can be compassionate, you can be empathetic towards somebody and the situation that they went through, but you do not have to allow them to use that as an excuse for their bad behavior and the way that they treat you. Now let's move on to how to know if it's time to move forward from a relationship. We've all had those relationships where month after month, year after year, nothing changes. We have the same level of frustration, the same level of disappointment, the same level of bad behavior, but for some reason we keep holding on because we think it'll get better down the road. And time just keeps going by and nothing changes. Now I want to be very clear here. I am by no means saying that there is such a thing as a perfect relationship. Every relationship goes through hard times. Everyone has arguments and disagreements. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those relationships that are on what I like to call the hamster wheel, where it's just the same thing day in and day out. There may be a few good times, and then you go right back to where you were before, with the not getting along, not feeling supported, not feeling loved, not feeling respected, feeling like you're the one doing all the sacrificing, constantly questioning where you feel like you are in a relationship, what direction is the relationship going. Those are the relationships I'm talking about. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pretend for a second that I have a magic wand. And I am waving that wand right now as you are watching this video. And I am freeze framing your relationship today in this very moment. It is never going to get worse, but it's never going to get better. Would you stay in it? And if you can't answer yes pretty quickly to that, then you really need to take a step back and look at your relationship. And you are the only one who can decide how much more time you want to waste on the hamster wheel. One more quick tip about this. If you're having a problem deciding whether you should stay or leave a relationship, I want you to do this quick exercise. I want you, and again, whether this is romantic relationship or friendship, it doesn't matter. I want you to take out a piece of paper. And I want you to forget that that person even exists. I don't want you to even take them into consideration during this exercise. Pretend like you've never met them. And I want you to write down the 5 things that are very important to you in a relationship. For example, maybe you've been dating someone for 5 years and marriage is really important to you, but the relationship is just not going in that direction. So you've kind of convinced yourself, oh, I'm okay with that, even though deep down inside you know that that is really, really what you want. So you've been self-sacrificing, waiting for something to change. This exercise is meant to help you to really define what it is you want, not what you fit in with what the other person is offering, but what you truly want. So you have to get really kind of tough with yourself and be very honest with yourself. So you're going to write down 5 things that are very, very meaningful and very important to you in a relationship. After you have your 5 things, I want you to think about the person that you're with and see, do they fit your list? Do they have the same goals? Are the same things that are important to you important to them? Do you feel loved? Do you feel respected? Do you feel valued? And if you don't, then you have some really tough choices that you need to make, and you are the only one who can make them. You have to decide how much longer you want to wait for something that may never change. And finally, the most important part of this video today is how to attract the right relationship. We've already talked a little bit about loving yourself, respecting yourself, and being sure that you're setting the right value for yourself. Because if you don't love, respect, and value yourself, like we said before, you're not going to attract someone who is going to love, respect, and value you. But most importantly, you have to be very, very clear on what you want. And we talked before about moving forward from a relationship and asking yourself some really tough questions. One of them being, what is it about you that you don't feel deserving of attracting what you want? Now, those of you who follow me and watch my videos know that I am the first to tell you that my dating relationship life was always something that I described as a cross between a Lifetime movie gone really, really bad and a comedy show. So I am by no means a relationship expert, and that is not the way I'm trying to come off. I am just sharing with you the tips, the tricks, the tools, the deep soul searching, and the things that I had to do to really turn my life around with the relationships that I allowed in my life. And it started with me looking in the mirror. I was under no illusion that the only common denominator in all of the bad relationships I kept attracting was me. And it wasn't until I really started asking myself the tough questions that I really started shifting things and attracting people who loved me, who respected me, and who valued me. So I want you to remember that in order for you to attract the right relationship, the focus has nothing to do with anyone else. The focus needs to be on you. Because until you love, respect, and value yourself, you're not going to attract someone who is going to love, respect, and value you. So the last exercise that I'm going to give you is to make another list of 5 things that you feel you bring to the table in relationship. Because too many times we play the rescuer role, the therapist, the nurse, but we don't play the role that we really, really want, which is the equal 50-50 partner. So I want you to make a list of the top 5 things that you bring to the table. I want you to see the value that you bring to a relationship. I will tell you that I have used all of this stuff that I'm sharing with you today in my own life. And I can tell you that I am now in a wonderful relationship with a wonderful man who not only loves me, but respects me and is beyond supportive and sometimes sees my value even when I forget how valuable I am. So my tips work, but here's the thing. You have to be willing to implement them. You have to be willing to change what is not working. Nobody can do that for you. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of At Home with LA. And until we meet again, here's to happily creating loving, respectful relationships around you.